All right, we're taking a trade on NVDA today. The first 2-minute candle was strong, as you can see right here. The second 2-minute candle bounced off the momentum line, and I went over here to the 15-second or 30-second chart, and I noticed it rolling right here. So I got long, and now we're just trailing our stop up. I need to add the momentum line, though, because that helps me to see exactly, there it is. It's going, obviously it's going sideways. Oh, here on the 2-minute chart, you can see this little three candle momentum line. It hasn't closed below that yet, and that's a good thing. That's 3 candle time period. So if it does close below that, then it's a good chance that it's going to go down to the 8. My stops right now should be below the 8, around 950, maybe. No, 492.20. And I got it pretty high. I got it high. There it goes. Okay, now this is good. This is a good way to just kind of like trail this up. Or I'm going to trail it up higher here, and we'll see how it goes. I'm just letting you know what I'm doing at the moment. Okay, it's still going up pretty good. I'm just hoping it gets through this day chart trend line. As you can see right here, on the day chart, there's a little trend line. That trend line probably could go here, though. Right over here on this candle here, kind of like this, or in between. So it's really not, it got through the hard part, this double trend line, a trend line coming down, and a trend line wherever you want to put it, on which candle you want to put it. It's trying to push up through that. It looks like a nice strong day. The whole market's going up, you can see. So the NASDAQ and the Qs right here are going up. That's pretty good. It's hitting some kind of a resistance area. That's what this line represents, so I got to keep an eye on that. There's a time to just take your profits and just let it roll back down, and it might be the time to do that right now. I'm going to try to hold it as long as possible. Getting in a trade is one thing, and then getting out is a completely different thing. You see the market right here is trying to push up higher and higher. So and it got through whatever resistance that was, some pivot, and I'm going to try to keep holding it again as long as on the 2-minute chart, it keeps closing above that momentum line. I'm pretty happy with it, so I'm going to try to hold it as long as possible. Getting out is another and completely different skill to have. Finding a good entry is one skill, and exiting is another skill. All right, I decided to close it. Sometimes after a big run, you just got to take your profits when you can, and it could be developing an M pattern here, which it'll break down a little shorter. Over here in the 2-minute chart, you could see it flattened out. It hasn't closed below the momentum line yet, so that could have been a problem for me to get out too early. And there it goes, unfortunately. I hate getting out earlier than I'm supposed to, but at the same time, when you got a nice hefty profit, either scale out of some of your position. I didn't have enough to scale out, and that's one of the problems. I didn't have more than just a little bit. So let's see what happens. Maybe I'll have another chance to get back in this thing. Should have never gotten out of it, it looks like, because I just didn't want to lose the profit that I had, and it's still something I need to record and make sure that I understand that getting out too early can be problematic. Let's see here if it reverses here. Now see, that was a temptation to get back long right there, and if it comes crashing down, this could be the high of the day. Let's see if this is the high of the day. Okay, so it still could go up, of course, but it's rolling down. We sold up here at the top, got out before this reversal candle. It could be the high of the day. Let's give it a chance to come back and test the 8 and see if it dips down to the 20 moving average. If the market's strong, we could get back in it, of course. If it comes back down to our entry point, it could be bouncing off the 50 moving average over here. All right, so momentum's died. It's closing under the momentum line, and it's definitely on the 30-second chart here. Looks like it might be trying to roll around. As long as it stays above the 8 moving average, it may be giving us another chance to go along again. But that reversal candle is quite telling. So if it gets over the top of that, that'll be, let's keep an eye on that quick snap back down that it had right here, and a couple of pivots that it's making up there. All right, so now we have the market kind of pulling back with some red candles. Let's see what happens here. It's still on the 5-minute chart. It's not below the 8 or anything. It's still kind of a bullish day, definitely a bullish day. We have on the 15-second chart or 30-second chart, whichever one you want to use, it's starting to trend down here, but it's still bouncing off the 8 on the 2-minute chart, and it still looks quite bullish on all the other time charts. So we're just noticing a little bit at a time what's going on here. And if everything stays bullish, yep, the bounce back up on the red candle in the market is trying to bounce back up. The SPY did close below the 8-minute chart. Well, that's the 2-minute chart. Let's see what the 5-minute chart says. Nope, it's still above the 8, trending up. Okay, we're still bullish, so let's see what happens here. Like I said, it still could be the high of the day for NVDA, or it could just be looking to push back up. Okay, I tried to go long here when it was breaking out over the 8 on the 2-minute chart right here. There's a trend line. I thought it was breaking out. I got in. Fortunately, it kept going. Came back down to break even, so that trade was a complete squash. But it kept going down, and I noticed, okay, what's it bouncing off of? It's bouncing off the 20 moving average on the 2-minute chart. And it's bouncing off some pivots from the previous day. That's what this other line is right here, this little dash line. So I said, let me try to scalp it up here a little bit. So we went long right here, buy off the 20 moving average. Let's see if it continues to go up in our direction here. Another positive thing about this is that the market is going up. It's still pushing up through. It looks bullish. So that's a very big help in the decision to buy off that 20. I guess part of my decision making is that it's just such a strong candle, this first hourly chart right here, and it's such a strong candle up on the 15-minute chart. Look at that candle. So can it all just come crashing down and break through all of this and go down and be an enormously down reverse day? Sure, it can, but we have to go with the probability. Plus the market still looks, even though it's choppy, pushing in sideways at least anyway, and the above the 8. So okay, here we go with it trying to go down below the pivots and go below the 20. You really don't want it to start the closing below the 50 and then reversing like that deep, but that can happen on the 2-minute chart as long as the 5 and 15 are still looking bullish. So coordinating the multiple time charts is very important to learn how to do, which I'm still getting better at, hopefully. The temptation to close this is high because I don't like it's getting squeezed in between the 8 and the 20 here. Hasn't closed below the 20, but it just doesn't have any momentum or direction. I like the 15-minute chart. However, I mean, it's staying in the upper third of this huge 15-minute candle. And that's a good sign. And the market is going sideways, which I don't like, but it tends to have these green candles right when I'm thinking about closing, and it's hard to get out because it still looks bullish. So I don't know what to do at the moment. I guess I'm just going to keep holding it. All right, I decided to close it for a teeny tiny small profit, and it may just go up. I don't want to lose. I prefer, if it's going to go down, let it go down to the 50, and then I'll take some. Or if it's going to break out, let it really break out, and then I can get back in it. So I'm going to get out and just wait to see what this thing's going to do. We'll see if that was a good decision. Well, you can see what the market's doing here. Now it's putting in this giant red candle to the downside. It just happened in 2 seconds. You know, it's green. It was all green, and then now, you know, it's just starting to drop right down right here. And it doesn't mean it's going to keep going down, but this is the kind of choppiness that I'm dealing with, and that's why I wanted to get out of the trade. It was looking real good and green. And I was thinking about even adding to my position, and I just said, you know what, something's fishy about this. It still may go up, but this is such an unreliable choppiness that I just wanted to close. And I think it was a good idea, even if it does go up. You can see what it's doing here on the 2-minute chart. It's trying to break out, and it's just stuck in the middle here. So we need some confirmation on where this thing wants to go. I'd prefer that it goes down and gives me a good buy setup, you know, down on the 50 moving average somewhere maybe. All right, as soon as I noticed that it was closing below the 8 and the 20 here, I looked for a short because the reason why I was able to look for a short was because I had gotten out of the position up here. Now, if I was still in that position up here, then it'd be very difficult for me to short right here. Very difficult. What I was trying to do was short, and it worked out great. I started right here where I was supposed to. It just stopped me out at break even. I started moving my stop loss close to the entry point. Now, I'm trying to buy off of the 50% pullback here, off of the 15-minute chart, and off of, let's see, we got a trend line, the 8 moving average, And if it keeps going down, we got the 20 and the 200 and the 100 and all that support area down there is a good area to try to bounce it back up. So I'm still bullish on this. But I did enter off the 20 moving average here on the 2-minute chart. As you can see right here, I just went ahead and bought. If it keeps going down, I do want to do some adds to this. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm happy to see that I got out of the trade so that I could have been ready for a short. I got out of the trade right here because it was just acting suspicious and acting funny, and it ended up going down. So I'm so glad that I did that. I'm actually even glad that I tried a short right here. I'm very happy with my decision to go short right here. Unfortunately, it broke me even. I wasn't able to hold it long enough to get a profit on it, but I'm still happy that I took that trade. Okay, I'm closing my position. It's almost lunchtime. For the first time, the candles are closing below the 8 and the 20 on the 5-minute chart for the market. Okay, so that's the first sign for me. Yeah, it could go up. It could just be a simple little, pullback, of course. It's been choppy and going sideways all day, though, since that first initial bump up. So we're going to take our lunch break here, and price has been closing below the 8, the 20, and the 50 on the 2-minute chart, and it still looks pretty bullish on the 5-minute chart. So it's either way you look at it, it's okay. See, I wouldn't blame myself if I would have stayed in this. I'm getting ready to get out of here. So that's why I closed it. So it could go. Look at the 15-minute chart here. It looks real good and strong and bullish, and that's looked very, very nice. I wish I didn't close it now. I guess because I need to go out and go to go to the bank, and I didn't like this closing below the 20 on the market, and those just gave me the reason to get out. So, all right, if you're just looking at the 15, the hourly, and the 5, it looks real bullish. The market keeps going back up into this. It wants to break out mode. But, I mean, let's take a look at this. The hourly chart right here, you got this formation, this consolidation formation. All the moving averages are moving up. And I like that pattern. It looks good. You can see it here in the 15-minute chart right here. It looks like it wants to keep rotating up. Could it have a strong drop down before it goes up? Or could it fail to go up? Yes, it could. But right now, the way it's looking, it looks bullish. 5-minute chart looks bullish. So I got back in for, let's see if it's going to be a good trade. All right, quick note here. Price has fallen below the 3 moving averages on the 5-minute chart. So that's something definitely pulling up the radar here. With the markets, everything's still just kind of sideways, and it's trying to pop up. It really is. Trying to pop up the best it can, and it's just, doing one of these head fakes and just coming right back down. Let's see where we're at the high of the day here. Yeah, pretty much we're pretty close to the high of the day. Looks like a good pattern, but it could definitely break down. So yeah, it's still worth holding, I think. 2-minute chart, it's just going sideways. And the big thing is that the 5-minute chart is telling us that it's below the 3 moving average. The 3 moving averages of 8, 20, and 50. All right, so I don't know what's going to happen. We may close it out, or we may... Okay, that last trade concluded with just a small, tiny profit. We waited and waited and waited for it to eventually go up, and looked like it was going to keep going, so I put a trail stop on it, and it just came back and stopped me out for a tiny bit of a profit there. So let's see right here, this 15-second chart. Got out right here because it was starting to break out, so I was trailing. And where we get in at? Somewhere over here, somewhere lower in that area. It's hard to see where we got in at, but somewhere down in this area, right down here in the congestion. And so it didn't do too well, but at least it didn't lose. So that's it for the day. Hopefully we'll get better and better by the grace of God as time goes on.